for lack of a better word, is good. Read it right. Read works.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 14 of Let's Play Wall Street Raider. I'm RakeM, your host. Last time out we had a huge upswing. We went from 10 trillion all the way up to 47.5 because all of the money that we've been making off commodities finally hit the books, came out on the earnings reports, and as a result all of our stocks went up. And the stock index went from about 7,000 up to 11,000, and it backtracked a little bit in the last couple of days. But everything is going well, and we've got plenty of cash to start moving stuff around. So I have gone through and updated my spreadsheet and put together my plan. We've also picked up 9 or so new bankrupt companies, or new companies through bankruptcy. They're sitting over at the bank. Some of them are fine and we're going to keep them, and others are still in trouble and we need to do something about them. But I don't really have a specific plan mapped out on those because we have bigger fish to fry. So anyway, before we get into what our plan is, I need to update you on a couple of things. First of all, episode 12, we had an issue trying to change the growth rate on GE from 2% to 1%. Every time we tried to change it to 1%, it wouldn't let us do it. It would put it at 2% every time. And then we also noticed in the last episode, in episode 13, that while the counterparties that we get on our commodities trades are closing their positions, selling off or covering their side of the trade when they start to get into credit trouble, the same is not happening on the options. So I have been in contact with Roninsoft on those two things, and they have written me back, and I just want to share with you what I have heard from them. So Roninsoft says that they have watched episode 12, and that they were amazed that when we were trying to change the GE growth rate from 2% to 1%, and it wouldn't do it, that was just unbelievable, and that they have no idea how that could ever happen, since the change routine simply inserts the new growth rate in the growth rate variable for that company and confirms that it did so. It's very simple code, carried over from the old DOS version. It's never needed to be changed, so it never has been changed in 30 years. So he's going to look at it and try to figure out what is wrong, and for right now it is a mystery. Anyway, that is still unresolved, but he's looking at it. So the other thing was that he was bothered by the fact that changes he'd made to the commodity price changes made the commodities more volatile and dangerous to trade. They were creating too much volatility, so he was thinking about toning down what changes he made to the commodity price calculations. So he's noticed in this series that, like for instance, silver and gold, which are normally very stable, they don't go up or down more than 15 to 20% per month. They're going up by factors of 2 to 3. So they'll drop from, say, a 50% level and go all the way up to 200% of their normal value in a single month's time. And according to him, that's too volatile, and so the changes that he's made have had too dramatic an effect on those prices, and he's thinking about toning it down. Also, with regard to the counterparties and how they're dealing with their options and futures, the way it's supposed to work is that if a company's credit rating falls below BBB, it's supposed to close out any losing positions that they have. So, and I presume that if it falls below BB, it'll even close out a position where he's making money as well. But that being the case, he's realized that is working on the commodities side, but it is not working on the options side. So if we go to look at Royal Dutch, and we look at his options, you'll see that he is losing money on his options of RakeM Insurance, Dayton Hudson, and BP. He's losing money on all of them, and it has driven him all the way to a negative value. He's got a D credit rating, and just to show you how quickly RakeM Insurance shot up, he shot up in the last month. So if that was working, he would have closed it by now. Okay, and it's not like it was flat before. It has been going up for the last 4 or 5 months, right? So he's been losing money on it for a while because we bought these options. Let's see, we had them 2 years out. They're scheduled to expire in November of 2020. So we bought them in November of 2018, right? So actually, we got to go back to I'm sorry, look at the wrong thing. June of 2021. So he bought them in June of 2019, so 9 months ago. Even so, 9 months ago was right about here. Okay, so it went up immediately and he didn't cover it, and then it dropped and he still didn't cover it, and it went up some more and he didn't cover it, and then we had the huge explosion when we rolled TMFI and MMF into RakeM Insurance. His stock price just exploded because of all the income that those companies brought in. So anyway, it's a problem. It's a problem and it needs to be addressed, and he's looking at it. So what he says is that I sent him the game files in addition to giving him a sneak preview on episodes 12 and 13, which as of today, as I'm recording this, have not been made public yet. And he says that there were 3 companies in episode 11, I think, that immediately got closed out of their options positions once he fixed it. So he's already made the change. And he says it may still not catch every situation, although Wall Street Raider is testing 56 times each quarter. So almost 2 out of every 3 days of game time. But when one of your stocks instantly doubles, that can make a short options position go up tenfold or so in an instant, so it still might bankrupt a company that's short the option. He says, I noticed that RakeM Insurance option, which RD was short on, must have gone up a ton since the RakeM Insurance chart showed the stock had more than doubled instantly in the previous month, just as I showed you. Probably when you cashed in a big futures positions, which we did cash in a few on BP, but I don't think RakeM Insurance had that. I think I did. But it was a subsidiary of Rinse Insurance, so maybe that's why it made a difference. The RakeM Insurance calls that Royal Dutch was short had gone up from its tax basis of negative 10,846 to negative 279,147, or almost 26 times. And the BP calls it was short had gone up over 6 times. So where players are pushing the game to extreme limits, as you are, the only solution may be to eliminate counterparties altogether, even if that is unrealistic. So he's considering removing counterparties of the game again. And this is a conversation that we had at the end of the Let's Play that I did for 7.6. I don't think that this conversation is over. I think it's going to continue for a while. But that's what's going on behind the scenes. And look at that. We're up to over 50 trillion again. So anyway, we've got some maintenance items to take care of, and we're going to disentangle ourselves from a few things, and primarily because of Royal Dutch's bankruptcy. So let me show you what this industry looks like now. We have a 36.5% market share, and Royal Dutch has 25%, and he's hugely bankrupt. So on April the 14th, when he declares, all of these assets that he owns are going to disappear from the game. And what that will mean is that our market share is going to catapult to the 48% level. Somewhere around there. And I don't really want to sell BP when he doesn't have a premium, But at the same time, I don't want to be so close to monopoly status. I mean, call me gun shy, but I just don't think that having a monopoly in this version of the game with all the teeth that he's put into fighting monopolies, I just don't think it's worth trying to establish and hold one. We may do it in a smaller industry just to kind of see what the game does. But this is our biggest company in terms of business assets. I don't want this industry to be destroyed any more than, well, at all. I don't want it to be destroyed, period. It's got too much money in it. We can't afford to have this industry deteriorate at all. The profits are good and we got a lot of money here, and I want to continue to make a profit. So what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and sell off BP, and we're going to grow up PBR here, and we'll go ahead and pick up any others that are well priced. But before we can do that, we need to sell off the options that we have on him. I guess actually we wouldn't really need to sell off if we don't. Yeah, we'll need to sell off the options, because what's going to happen is once we sell him, he's going to be publicly owned and he will become a counterparty on commodities trades and whatnot. And so that will cause his stock price, or not necessarily his price to net worth, but it will cause his net worth to fall. And so even though his price to net worth will probably remain the same, his overall net value is going to decline. So what we're going to do is we're going to sell off the options. We're going to sell BP. Then we're going to buy. I'm actually going to give some money to PBR here and have him buy spot crude and spot crude futures. Of course, before I do that, I have to sell off mine because I've got it shorted and I'm losing a ton of money on it right now. But then we're going to give him some cash to buy some assets. We might actually, you know what we might do? We might actually, before we sell BP, we might put some of his assets up for sale to reduce his market share. Is that what I want to do? How many assets does Royal Dutch have? He has 300 billion, and BP has 440 billion or so. Let's go over here, look. We don't need to see these inside that. Okay, so he's got 443 billion in assets. So we could buy like 140, 150 billion away from him, buy 300 billion in new assets, and that would probably cover it. That would give us a 36% market share once Royal Dutch goes bankrupt. And we basically reset the clock. I think that's probably the best way to go. All right, so I guess the question is, who has options? I think it's me and Gold Corp have options on BP. All right, so let's go to me and buy and sell call options on BP. $700 billion. And let's go to Gold Corp. And sell options on BP. All right, now let's sell BP, which I think is owned by RakeM Insurance. Yep. And the beauty of this is that even though it says that we spent $2.5 billion or $1 trillion on him, we didn't. We gave him somewhere in the neighborhood of around 600 billion. And the increase has been due to commodities, and those gains in commodities have increased his tax cost basis, so that RakeM Insurance doesn't have to pay tax on income that BP has already paid taxes on. So even though technically, by this calculation, we're going to take a loss, we aren't really taking a loss. So let's sell him off. Okay, and now let's go ahead and immediately buy index futures with BP as the counterparty. Because I think that the index is about to go up, and if the policy changes to easing, it'll definitely go up. All right, so we have sold off BP. So the next thing to do, and we'll just change this to PBR, and we'll delete PBR from down here. Okay, so the next thing to do is for me to cover my oil futures. So I've got them all at like $55 to $65 per. I'm losing a little bit of money on each one. So I'm going to cover all of my oil futures, and then we'll buy PBR away from the bank, give him some cash, have him buy oil futures and physical oil, and buy a bunch of new assets. And we sold BP and didn't put any of his assets on the market, so we'll just buy all new assets. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward while I cover all of these oil futures, and I'll be back in a minute. Before we do anything else with PBR, let's I also want to sell BP short, because he has got a lot of cash, but his value is going to decline as a result of losing money on the commodities trades that we're going to do. Right now, I already own physical crude, so I'm not going to buy more, but we are going to have a bunch of other companies buy more as we get them settled in their final resting places. In other words, as we move them around, as long as the price stays low. But just to review what other commodities I have sold silver short, and we're looking for it to bottom out. Hopefully it'll go down to 15 again. And wheat we have bought it when it was really low and we wanted to go up to around 9. Corn we're looking to sell it around 8. And then gold we bought around 950, and it keeps jumping up and down from the 800 range to like 1100, and then it goes back down again. And I think the reason why it's doing that is because the interest rate is high. Because again, gold stays low when the interest rate is high. So basically we're going to be holding on to gold for a while, I think, until the interest rate goes down. And we'll need to come across a scenario for that to happen, because generally with this kind of growth, the interest rate stays high. So we'll need a scenario to save us sometime in the next 4 years of game time. So anyway, we're going to have RakeM Insurance. Actually, I've already got them selected over here. We're going to have RakeM Insurance buy PBR from the bank and give him a bunch of cash. Let's give him 700 billion. And we just got another bankruptcy. Alright, so let's go to PBR. And we're going to have him buy oil. Okay, that cost 142 billion. And now we'll go to futures. And we're going to buy 500,000 contracts, and BP should be the counterparty on all of them. Right, so we've got oil, futures, 500,000 contracts, and we've got oil futures, or oil, physical oil. And do we want to buy anything else? We could buy gold, but we need the money for assets. Put 100 billion maybe. We could buy 10,000 units of gold. So let's see what he has left. 442. So let's buy 400 billion in new assets if it'll let us. YPF has some, so we'll take those. Where is he? Here he is. 2,500. That's nothing, but oh well. We get it at a discount, so it's fine. Now the returns obviously have dropped dramatically, but when Royal Dutch goes broke, his 20% will disappear and our market share will increase accordingly. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fix our management settings. We're grossly incompetent, so we're going to max out our R&D rate. We'll make it 26%. We will make our dividend zero, or leave our dividend zero for now, and our growth rate will just be 1%. Okay, and just to show you how BP became the counterparty, so there's his list of contracts, stock index, and he's only got 2 of the oil. Who else would have bought it? I'm looking for 100,000 and just like, there's the BP ones. Nabisco and Navistar. That surprises me. Here's ours. And on the stock index, there's our big ones. And BP is the counterparty on all 3 of those. 1, 2, 3 right there. Okay, so anyway, it's good to know. I thought he was going to be the only one that would be able to afford those. Anyway, our index is falling for some reason. Probably because BP's going down. Let's look at RakeM Insurance, see what his income projection is. Okay, it's still up. We've got $2 trillion to work with still. If we're paying 800 billion in taxes, so call it 1 trillion. All right, so Cabot owns a bunch of stocks, and some of them we're going to move. Oh, I forgot. RakeM Insurance is only going to be the parent to other insurance companies. So we need to move PBR into one of the others. And Mike Mitsui Marine and Fire here doesn't have any stocks yet. So I'm going to contribute PBR to MMF. Let's give him 95%. And sell off the other 5. And let's see who owns, if anybody bought that 5%. The Axe Group bought it. Would like for that to go to the public, but while this options thing isn't fixed, until he gives me an update, that has that fixed. I really don't want to do any options, but I do want to do everything else like we're going to do options, so that when we get the update, we're positioned to go ahead and buy all the options we want. Okay, so let's see. Who else do we need to move? Do we have... Okay, so Cabot. We got some disentangling to do there first. And iOmega. That's the only other one. Okay, so Cabot owns a bunch of stocks that are trading at less than their value. For instance, pretty much all the ones that are on here that say move are the ones that are trading for less than their current net value. So for those, we're just going to buy them from Cabot and donate them to whatever insurance company we want to have them. All right, so starting with Toyota. First of all, let's pay down his bank loan. He's trading at 18 and he's worth 22. What we're going to do is we're just going to buy him away. It's $500 billion. We're going to buy him from Cabot and we're going to give him to Mitsui Marine. That one's done. United Technologies is next. It's worth 90 billion or 86 billion. And we have enough money now to pay off the loan. So let's buy back the bonds and pay off the loan. GE is up, that's good. Those Huawei networks. All right, so you have to decide which insurance company to give him to. And I'm just going to look and see how much money he's got. He needs 80 billion. We can just sell off some of our mortgages and buy that from Cabot. Okay. This is something I haven't seen before. Because of unfavorable market conditions, the growing concern over the creditworthiness of subprime mortgages, this sale of subprime mortgage securities will have to be made at a 12% discount from face value, as there are very few buyers for such risky paper at this time. Are you sure you want to take a loss? Okay, no. We'll just have Tokyo buy it and donate it. Oh, I didn't mean Tokyo. Well, too late now. It's going to Tokyo. I meant RakeM Insurance, not Tokyo. That's who I meant to have buy it. Alright, let's give this other 10% of iOmega to TMFI. Is that what I want to do? What are we doing with iOmega? We're going to hold on to them, so we'll give this 10% to TMFI. We're going to be doing some IPOs here in the near future to reduce our holdings, because he's got RakeM Insurance is going to maintain 100% ownership of all the insurance companies that he's going to have, but these second tier insurance companies, I want them to have 90 to 95% ownership of these companies so that we can buy and sell options. So we'll do some IPOs on these, or sell off if they're big enough. Like in Goldcorp's case, if we sell 5% of him, it should go to the public because of how big he is. But on the others, we're going to do IPOs to reduce our percentage of stock held. All right, so we moved him to TMFI. All right, Nomura. He's already owned by Tokyo, so we're just going to hold him. Mitsubishi Electric is 92% owned by Cabot. And we are going to move him. He is selling just above his net worth at $174 billion. So, which insurance company do we want to give him to? Alright, so Tokyo is next, so I guess we want to give him to Mitsubishi too. Basically, I want to keep giving him to Mitsubishi until he gets up to the 10 trillion level. So let's give him to Mitsui. So let's go to RakeM and buy Mitsubishi. And let's go ahead and buy that other 8% too. He's trading right at his current value or just above it. Let's offer 22% and see if he takes it. And he took it. And now we will donate Mitsubishi to Mitsui. Next up is Dayton Hudson. And we have the same kind of issue going on here, except none of them are bankrupt yet. They're all just in really bad financial shape and they're growing at a negative rate. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to either sell him off at a theoretical loss. Because the reason why he's trading this low is because of all the money that he's made. He's got billions in cash. Matter of fact, let's pay off his loan. He's made all this money in commodities, and it's just sitting there in cash. I wonder why his taxes are so low. Did he just declare? He declared in this month. But anyway, he's trading way below his stock price, or his net worth, and he's got all this cash. So we're just going to buy him and move him, and we'll probably do an extraordinary dividend so that Mitsui Marine and Fire has cash to work with. RakeM still has plenty of money. And the other 35% is owned by the public, so we're going to buy that too, since it's trading at like 76% of its net worth. Because that's just free money. And we didn't own... Oh, we did. Goldcorp had options on him that I forgot about. But he was making money on those, so I guess it's alright. So let's have RakeM give Dayton Hudson to MMF. Alright, Real Networks. Already owned by TMFI, so we're not doing anything with him. Baidu, we are going to sell. Right, and the reason why is because he's already trading at a pretty high premium. The returns in here are fantastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to buy up these little guys and replace Baidu with them. Okay, and with the fact that Baidu doesn't have a whole lot of money, it's not going to hurt us. We can always freeze him after we sell him. So Cabot is going to sell him, and we're going to replace him with these other little guys. Alright, so let's go to here and take a picture. Now let's see who we're going to have do it, because I think Mitsui has enough cash. RakeM Insurance still has $1 trillion. We need 800 billion of that for taxes. Let's have Cabot do an extraordinary dividend. That money will go to RakeM. RakeM will buy the companies we need, contribute cash to buy new assets, and we'll attack it that way. So Cabot has, well, we got a tax increase. And we're going to easing. Perfect. Perfect. And our index just jumped 800 points. Alright, so let's disperse 2 trillion of this. Matter of fact, let's do 3 trillion. We don't have any options on Cabot anymore. We just got a huge jump thanks to the interest rate going down. Look, holy cow. Holy cow. Wow. Wow, that's huge. We gotta buy gold again. And I think it's time to cover my futures. Oh, no. I bought wheat and gold, or wheat and corn. Alright, wow, that's throwing me into vapor lock here. What do I need to do first? That's the question. Do we want to continue what we're doing or mess with commodities first? I'm sorry. I don't want to pass this up, but we kind of need the money right now. So I guess we're going to pass on it. We're making plenty of money on the index anyway. So anyhow, let's go back over to RakeM Insurance. And we're going to buy these companies here. So starting with Link. Oh, that one's owned. Never mind on that one. I forgot about that one. Mitsui's way up. Meyer is a bankruptcy that we got to look at. The site is the last one. All right. So how many assets did Baidu have? 88 billion. So let's give 100 billion to one of these guys. And let's give them the other two companies as well. We're probably going to fill up on bankruptcies this episode if we don't start clearing them out. All right, let's pay off our loan and then liquidate those other two companies. Now, you see how high these returns are, and we're going to buy some new assets to bring that stuff down. We're grossly incompetent, so let's make our R&D 25%. Set our growth rate to 25% also. Set our dividend to 0 until we're making decent money. And let's buy new assets. And let's buy 60 billion. That'll give us plenty of room and plenty of money to grow with. All right, and let's freeze Baidu. Who else did we sell off? Did we just freeze BP? Let's freeze BP too, because we don't want him borrowing. He already did. He already borrowed a lot of money. Let's look at BP and see what he spent it on. He's got... Well, maybe he already had that loan, now that I think about it. Because we didn't repay it before we sold him. See how much money he's losing on the index? But he won't sell that off until he falls to a BBB credit rating. Which will happen as this cash disappears and this loan becomes a larger percentage of what he owns. You may want to do... Alright, silver has dropped, so I need to cover my silver. And we need to buy silver. So I'm going to take a moment to cover all of my silver positions. And then I will buy futures, long futures, and buy physical silver. I'll fast forward while I'm doing that, and I'll be right back. All right, let's get back to our stocks. So we sold Baidu and we replaced him with Link. All right, so that brings us to Fujitsu. And I'm not going to do any more with the commodities. We're looking again for $9 here, $8 here. And gold's gone back up, so we're not buying more of it. Alright, so Fujitsu, we're going to move him because he's trading below his value. Currently owned by Cabot. So let's go to Mitsui. And he's got enough money for this one. And Fujitsu's finally on the right track, and we can reduce his R&D spending. We changed his management and it's working. Apple here is about to go broke, which will increase our profits. So we just need to reduce our growth rate, and I'm going to make it 12%. I mean our R&D rate. And I don't remember if we froze everybody in here or not. Let's look at IBM. I think we did. I think we froze them in the last episode. Let's look at one with a better credit rating. So this one has an A credit rating. And we don't own his loan. And it's under $1 billion. But I think we froze all the ones that we did have. Let's look at Lenovo. Yeah, he's frozen. So these guys, these growth rates may continue, because when he goes broke, these guys will be making more money. They may be able to sustain these growth rates as a result. But the returns will be so good at that point that it won't matter. So we're done there. Toyota America is a subsidiary of Toyota, and we're going to hold him. But I'm going to leave him as a subsidiary of Toyota for now. And Toyota Europe is the same story. We're going to leave him for now. We actually want to increase our market share of this industry. So, but we won't have time today. We're going to get to it next time. All right, so next up is Next Semiconductor, and he's owned by a couple of companies. Cabot has 46% and Mitsubishi has 11%, and we're going to sell him off. He's trading at a nice premium. And we're going to buy up some little guys here. And by little guys, I mean one, Alpha. Alpha Circuits is the only one. And the returns here are nice, so we're going to buy a bunch of assets, just like we did with Link and PBR. So let's begin by selling him off. All right, now let's go to Mitsui and buy Alpha Circuits. All right, now this industry has 324 billion in assets in it, and NEC Semiconductor had 53 billion in assets. I want to give Alpha Circuits 75 billion and have him buy 50 billion in assets. And we can buy some from Hitachi. And looks like Alpha had some for sale too. Let's take that off the market. So let's buy 50 billion. Right, that gives us 14.5%. Let's grow at 2% for right now. Our R&D needs to be at least 19. Let's make it 21. And bringing in money, so we'll keep a dividend. We'll make it 82 cents. Mitsui needs to buy these bonds back and pay off his loan. And it looks like he needs to change his bank too. That looks fine to me, and we will increase our growth rate. Oh, let's freeze Next Semiconductor too. We don't want him causing problems in the market there. So he'll grow long enough to use up his cash, and then once his cash is gone, that should be it. Okay, so we sold that. and we're going to replace him with Alpha Circuits. The other, there was several other semiconductor companies that I was considering buying. Actually, not buying, short selling. All right, so I'm going to short sell Intel, NEC, and Motorola because these new assets are going to bring down their returns as well as a lower demand rate. So I'm going to short sell Intel, Motorola, and whatever that other one was. Next semiconductor. Okay, that's done. Okay, so that takes us to GE. GE has a ton of cash, and he's trading below his value. We are going to move him, but he's huge. We're going to have RakeM do it because he's the only one with the cash to do it. It's 1.3 trillion. Thanks to our index futures, we have that now. Let's buy GE away from Cabot. And we will contribute him to Mitsui Marine and Fire. Same thing with Link. Mitsui's getting up there. Now we have our other Mitsui to look at, which I don't have a note on him, and if we're going to keep him, I want to change his name so that we don't get confused which one I'm talking about here. He's trading over his net worth. The returns in here are pretty good, but the demand is really low. And everybody's just kind of going nuts on their growth rates. I don't remember if we froze these guys or not. He's frozen. And he is not frozen. We need to freeze everybody in here. Otherwise the returns are going to go to hell. And we can, by freezing them, we can increase our growth rate. Let's go to the bank and just freeze everybody on this list. Fast forward while I'm doing that, and I'll be right back. All right, we got everybody frozen. And do we need, I forgot, did we need to move him? I forget who owns him. Oh, he's already owned by Tokyo, so he's fine. All right, so that brings us to Huawei Networks. And he is owned by Cabot. And we're going to sell him. He's trading at a nice premium. And we're going to buy or replace him with, let's see, here it is, MT, Cornell, and Sienna Corp. So NT, Cornell, and Sienna Corp. Okay, so we'll have Cabot sell Hallway Networks. We just took a loss on that one. Not a loss, but we didn't make as much because I've tried to sell him when we owned 100%, and I should have reduced our interest in it first. Okay, so let's go over to Mitsui Marine and Fire. He's going to need some money, so let's have Dayton Hudson disperse some cash. And it looks like we need to sell off my futures on gold and silver. But let's get this done first. So we're going to buy NT, Corning, and Sienna Corp. We'll give these two to Nortel. Huawei had 86 billion in assets, so let's give 100 billion to Nortel. Liquidate these two. So we need to buy the bonds back first. Oh, I'm on the wrong company. Let's buy, how much? Let's buy 75 billion. We're going to grow at 20%. Actually, let's leave it at 11 until we reform the management. So let's make our R&D 16%. We're bringing in money so we can leave the dividend where it is. And our growth rate's fine for now. I should have covered my silver when I said I was gonna. Alright, so here we've changed to NT. Alright, I'm going to sell my silver and my gold. And I will be right back. NBC we're going to hold, and he's already owned by GE, so we'll just leave him there. Donaldson we're going to sell. He's in pollution control. He's trading at a nice premium. And none of these guys are trading at a decent price, but we already own US Filter. We got him through a bankruptcy. So what we're going to do with him, and this Okay, so let me delete this one. That's no longer the case. Whatever this company is, I forget the name of it. He was trading at a discount, but he no longer is. So what we're going to do is we're going to buy US Filter from the bank and grow him up. All right, but let's start by selling off Donaldson. He had $30 billion in assets. So let's give him 40. Pay off the loan and buy 30 billion in assets. Industry is improving, we're mediocre, and we're making money. So let's make our growth rate 12%. Our R&D will be 12%. And let's give them a dividend of 72 cents. Let's go over to the bank and freeze the ones we just sold off. So starting with Donaldson. And the one that we sold up here was Huawei Networks. And I believe we already sold Next Semiconductor. So that's all we need to do. CR Bard we're going to sell. He's in medical equipment, and we've actually picked up another one in here. I thought, oh, I guess not. It must be in healthcare rather than medical, the one that we picked up. So we're going to sell him. He's trading at a premium. We're going to sell him. And we're going to buy Bosch & Lomb, and here HB and Melonrod, or whatever this one is. Okay, so let's go over to Cabot. Once again, I forgot to sell 5% to start with, because I'm just not used to playing on level 3. Right, let's go over to, let's see, Marine. 100 billion to work with, and BCR had 11 billion in assets. Alright, so let's donate 15 billion, whichever one we want, this one. And we'll make him the parent, and we'll just merge these. Provided he has decent, okay, he doesn't. Let's take a look at the others. Which one do we want to make the parent? He's grossly incompetent. Okay, so my choices are mediocre, mediocre, or grossly incompetent. I guess we'll make Melancrot the parent. We've already got 8 billion in assets, so let's just buy another 5. Growth rate of 12% is fine. We'll increase our R&D to 12%. RakeM made a little money, but nowhere near what he was making. We're making money, so we'll leave our dividend. We'll increase it to 3.22. That looks good to me. Let's buy 5 billion in assets. Alright, so we replaced BCR with Mallinckrodt. Okay, well, we didn't quite get done, but we got pretty far down the list. When we come back next time, we'll finish up what we're doing with these. The main thing on what's left is, we're going to hold iOmega and we're going to hold GE Appliances. So the only one really we have to figure out is Gold Corp. But primarily he has like 6 trillion in cash. None of it's invested anywhere. He's in a fairly small industry, only has 3 billion in assets. So we have to decide if we're going to sell him off for a huge gain and leave him with all that cash, if we're going to disperse it. Just what we're going to do. We can make twice as much money selling his stock as we can taking an extraordinary dividend. So I really feel like we have to be certain that leaving him with that cash isn't going to mess us up before we sell him off. Or if we decide to keep him, we need to make sure that we can continue to raise his stock value by putting that money to work somewhere. And I'm just not sure that that's even a possibility. So anyway, when we come back next time, we'll look at him, and we'll also look at all the bankruptcies that we inherited. I will update my spreadsheet based on the new companies to reflect their value and their current number of stocks on hand. We're going to have to split a bunch of them. This list needs to be reset. See how high some of the stock prices are. So we'll need to split everybody. So that's it for today. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and share. And until next time, this is RakeM saying, have a good one.